we're either going to take care of our people, make sure that Americans are taken care of, because just because you're not a millionaire doesn't mean you shouldn't have, more than adequate health care.
I agree with you. And now, keep in mind, like, my website's called libertarianprogressive.org, so I'm trying to find commonalities between those two types of groups.
There are totally. I mean, it's a choice. I'm not mandating anybody go into medicine.
Right, so that's another question.
Wouldn't you? I mean, it would be the smart business decision. The point of being here, this would be a boon to business, because this is the biggest ball and chain that American business has on its shoulders, is the cost of health care.
Absolutely.
And the cost of health care, the major cost of health care, there is some shenanigans which I can go into with reference to some providers, more like chain providers and so on, but of health care that I can talk about.
I mean, companies in Europe, like VW or whoever, they don't have to pay for health insurance for their employees. Companies in Japan, they don't have to pay for health insurance for their employees. People in the United States, well, I guess they don't have to, but they do. Well, they're going to have to start doing it. But I mean, this would give our businesses and corporations like
absolute boon to business. It would be like a tax cut. Now, on the other hand, I know people.
And plus, they would have a healthier workforce too.
Totally. I mean, a healthier workforce. Now, let me just say, if we go along the path that we are currently on, and American voters allow the system to go in the direction it's going, let me just explain what is happening behind closed doors, a bipartisan effort in Washington. We have too many people between automation and offshoring, and I have a plan to diminish this offshoring problem, too, that I've come up with, which I'd like to discuss briefly as well.
Yeah, no, that's why we discuss everything that you want. Now, I'm just going to pause it here for just a second and just continue it right after that. We're at the halfway mark here, or the half an hour mark. All right, now we're back. It's just a precaution I take in case, part of the recording.
We're amortizing your risk here.
Or something. Yeah, so we're back. We're talking about, now there was something else I wanted to just follow up on the health care. It's now here I think is dividing line between a lot of, now I think there's more commonalities than there are dividing lines, and there's more priorities that are commonalities between the so-called left, right, and the middle.
Oh, there absolutely are more. Libertarians and progressives are very closely aligned.
Oh, yeah, especially nowadays with like big issues like the NDA, war and peace, and big corporate cronyism. But let me just try to give another angle where you could explain the health care, I think, because I tend to be libertarian on a lot of things. Now, health care, I agree with you, John. I think a public option would be a great option. And now, here's the reasoning. I don't think the government should get into selling like tennis shoes or anything else.
Absolutely not. Yeah.
There are things I totally, love the free market. I think it definitely is the way to go. Adam Smith and everything like that. But it's supply, demands, et cetera, et cetera. And you see prices.
The problem is the market really isn't very free. It's all been greased for the people at the top.
Totally. It's not a free market. It's all.
It's just not free.
But here's the test of things. I think that might be beneficial to have a public option, and it doesn't mean it has to be the only option. It's not number one. If it's something that has to do with our what we call the commons, like money, like national defense, the judicial system, our police, things like that.
Structure.